Nothing like a little ska to start off your Friday morning, vaqueros. Who's Fishbone? Where's the Nirvana tickets? That's what I want to know. That one's going out to my buddy Steve in Spokane. He introduced me to this band. I remember seeing this CD. Like, Fishbone. Who the heck is Fishbone? Um, Ma and Pa with Fishbone there. And good morning, vaqueros. DJ Doc V. It is Friday, April 26th, 3 minutes after the hour. We'll be here for the next hour. Make sure you stay tuned, though, because the Feminist Hour coming up at 11 o'clock from our Brownsville studio. So make sure you stay tuned and check out that show. This is really the last show for the spring 2024 semester. So I know, get the tissues. It's very sad, but don't worry, we'll be back in the fall with some more live programming on Vaquero Radio. I'll be back doing my show Friday mornings, office hours, as always, with DJ Doc V. So make sure. Remember, you can still tune in and listen to us on the website. We do broadcast 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. So make sure you stay tuned. Like us on our social media platforms. Make sure you're following us on Facebook and Instagram and not Twitter. Should we call it not Twitter? Formerly, the site formerly known as Twitter. We're there too. So make sure you follow us and do all that stuff there. Sending out some peace and love to folks up in Austin. After the last couple of days have been pretty, quite frankly, dangerous on the UT Austin campus, with the university president calling in armed state police to disperse peaceful protesters on campus. So thinking about them, sending out them some positive energy. Stay safe. Got some great tunes picked out for you, as always. At the bottom of the hour, we've got This Day in History, and then another poem from Pulse Magazine, the most recent edition, that's out on the stands on campus. Make sure you pick up your copy of Pulse Magazine, another fine product of UTRGV student media. For now, let's get back to the music. Let's keep the energy high. Here's a little bit of Boston with Smokin', only on Vaquero Radio, the Valley's student station. Celebrated Summer from the third LP released by the band Husker Du from Minneapolis. That's a song called Celebrated Summer. The album New Day Rising, released in 1985 on SST Records. The band released the album Zen Arcade through SST Records in July 1984, and the label's co-owner Joe Carducci immediately requested another album. The band wanted to self-produce, but SST insisted on Spot, who produced many of the label's albums, including all of Husker Du's. The recording atmosphere was thus tense, it's fair to say. New Day Rising appeared in January of 1985 and featured slower, more melodic material. Although, I hear that one. That's slower? What was fast? If that one was slow. Their first record, Land Speed Record, was. I don't think I know of any other band that for their first album, they put out a live record, a record of them live and it's the first record. I still have that on vinyl, as a matter of fact. Oh my gosh, it's amazing! It's amazing. Wow, music is just so fascinating. I love music so much. Good morning, vaqueros. DJ Doc V. It's Friday, April 26th, 18 minutes after the hour, and it looks like some cloudy skies out today here in the upper Rio Grande Valley. 79 degrees. It looks like we're expecting cloudy skies for most of the day. And a low overnight of about 77. We can expect a high today of about 86, figuring around 1 p.m. or so. The weekend, still some cloudy skies, some chances for rain. Tomorrow, a high of 92 degrees. Sunday, a high of 95 with partly sunny skies. Windy tomorrow, so make sure you batten down the hatches, if you will. And then Monday, 93 degrees, partly sunny skies, and about a 20% chance of showers or rain here in the valley. I know it's disappointing. We're so used to sunshine every day and the heat here. But what about our friends elsewhere? Let's see, 66 degrees in Oklahoma City. for my son Seth, who's working up in Oklahoma City today. Westport, Massachusetts, 54 degrees and sunny skies. Shout out to Bill and Erica there in Westport, Mass. And finally, 48 degrees, brr, in Spokane, Washington. Although that's pretty balmy weather for folks in Spokane. 48 degrees, cloudy skies out there today. Coming up at the bottom of the hour, we've got This Day in History. So make sure you stay tuned. But let's get back to the music. We'll bring it down just a touch. Here's an in-studio performance from Gomez, the band. It was done in the Minneapolis studios of 89.3 The Current, which is a public radio station in the Twin Cities, Minnesota. Great station. Really love public radio. Really love not-for-profit radio. College radio certainly being a big player in that domain. This is a song called Girl-Shaped Love Drug. No spaces, all pushed together. And you're only going to hear this on the Valley student station, Vaquero Radio. Good morning, Vaqueros. M. Ward with Little Baby. Only on Vaquero Radio, the Valley student station. Before that, you heard Jolie Holland with Littlest Birds and Gomez with Girl-Shaped Love Drug. Those first two were both in studio recordings up at the public radio station in Minnesota, the Current 89.3. So those are some great in studio acoustic performances by those artists. Good morning, Vaqueros. This is DJ Doc V with you here for the next 30 minutes or so. But remember, Feminist Hour coming up at the top of the hour, so don't go far. Make sure you stay tuned and listen to DJ Morena Libre. This day in history, as we do every week, on this day in history in 2014, the Flint water crisis begins. Officials from Flint, Michigan, on April 25th, 2014, switched the city's water supply to the Flint River as a cost-cutting measure for the struggling city. In doing so, they unwittingly introduced lead-poisoned water into homes in what would become a massive public health crisis. The problem started when officials decided to switch the water supply from the Detroit Water and Sewerage Department to the Carignan Water Authority to save money for the economically struggling city. Before that connection could be built, the city turned to the Flint River as a temporary water source. By May, residents were complaining that the brown water flowing into their homes looked and smelled weird, but the largely majority African American and poor citizens went ignored by officials. In August, E. coli and coliform bacteria were detected in Flint's water. From there, a leaked memo from the Environmental Protection Agency and several independent studies warned of dangerous levels of lead in the water. Although the city switched their water supply back in October 2015, the damage to the pipes had already been done. After months of denial and dodging, the mayor, the governor, and president declared a state of emergency in Flint. Free water bottles and filters were provided to residents to help them cope. Unfortunately, the crisis didn't end there for Flint residents. Over a year later, people were still using bottled water to cook, drink, and even brush their teeth. The city's recovery has been slow as it works to replace 30,000 lead pipes. In late 2022, the city said it was in the final phase of the replacement project. By 2017, reports showed that the water in most homes was generally safe, but many residents still don't trust what comes out of their tap. In the aftermath, residents filed a class action lawsuit, and 9 officials, including the former Michigan Governor Rick Snyder, were charged with 34 felony counts and 7 misdemeanors. Other cases and investigations are ongoing. That was on this day in 2014. Also on this day, in 2015, a magnitude 7.8 earthquake kills thousands in Nepal. On this day in 1990, the Hubble Space Telescope is placed in orbit. In 1859, ground was broken for the Suez Canal in the Middle East. In 1945, President Truman briefed on the Manhattan Project, which would become the nuclear nuclear story of the United States, I guess. And finally, on this day in 1719, a little personal connection here. In 1719, the novel Robinson Crusoe is published, and I was confessing to the staff here at the station that I read this book. I read this book first in second grade, God, and wrote a book report. And then I did a book report on that same book for the next 4 years, I think, until I left elementary school. Now, keep in mind, I'm willing to confess that I didn't want to read any other books, but I didn't use the same book report and resubmit it every year. I actually wrote new ones. So that maybe a splitting the salt from the pepper there as far as academic integrity goes for an elementary school age child, but still, and I had no idea that this book was first published in 1719. That's incredible. Daniel Defoe's fictional work, The Life and Strange Adventures of Robinson Crusoe, is published on this day in 1719. The book about a shipwrecked sailor who spends 28 years on a deserted island is based on the experiences of shipwreck victims and of Alexander Selkirk, a Scottish sailor who spent 4 years on a small island off the coast of South America in the early 1700s. So that's this day in history. Really always fascinating. So let's get back to the music. How about that? I know we brought it down a little bit at first, and we're going to keep it a little bit lower fi, but here's Always in Disguise by Peter Himmelman.
1, 2, 3,
only on Vaquero Radio, the Valley's student station. That's REM from the Green LP with You Are the Everything. Before that, you heard Peter Murphy from his Cascade LP with The Scarlet Thing in You, and we started off that set with another in-studio performance, not at the Current, but at KCRW in Los Angeles, another great public radio station. That was Peter Himmelman with Always in Disguise. Thanks for tuning in, Vaqueros. This is DJ Doc V. Slight correction, there won't be the Feminist Hour today, unfortunately. So we've got another 10 minutes or so in office hours. Got a couple of songs in the queue, waiting for the opportunity to be played on our air. But before that, as we do every week, I've selected a poem, this one from the most recent edition of Pulse Magazine. It's available on campus all over the place, so make sure you pick up a copy. Included, in addition to poetry, there's short stories, there's pictures, there's art. They talk about fashion, there's theater. I mean, there's all kinds of great stuff in this magazine. So make sure you pick up a copy of Pulse Magazine, Volume 9, Issue 9, whatever it is. It was just released in the last month or so. So make sure you pick up Pulse Magazine, another great production of UTRGV Student Media. I've selected the poem this week. It's a poem called Wrong Fruit by Karina N. Alegre. I picked you up, looked at your color, washed you clean, got the dirt off you. The birds and insects had gotten to you. I took good care of you until you were full of saturated color. But I could not forget what had once been in you. I could not bring you to my mouth to taste you. Something in me knew that you weren't as sweet as you looked. I knew you'd make me sick to my stomach. But I closed my eyes, took a bite out of you, then another, until I was taking big bites of your sweetened flesh. Convincing myself that you were sweet, that you were good for me, I tried so hard. In the end, I had to spit you out, as you were filled with poison and lies. I watched as those bad parts of you came back, tasting bitter, used. I went around the apple tree, ignored the dull apples on the ground, and grabbed a shinier, rounder red apple. As I bit it, my eyes grew wide, happiness, as it tasted sweet and got rid of the taste of you. Never knowing I could have had better if I hadn't picked up the wrong fruit. That's a poem titled Wrong Fruit by Karina N. Alegre in the Pulse Magazine, issue number 9, available on campus all over, so make sure you pick up a copy for yourself. Another great production of UTRGV Student Media. It is, let's check the weather before we head out for the rest of our day here. 79 degrees still. Is that the right? No, let me refresh that and see where we're at. We're looking for, it's 80 degrees. So it's not 79 degrees, it's 80. Okay. In Edinburgh, Texas. Cloudy skies. Looks kind of gloomy out there today. We've got this great big picture window in our studio, so we're able to give you a real-time interpretation of what we're seeing out the window there. Looks like the high today is going to be 87, potentially getting up all the way to 90 with about a 10% chance of rain, maybe some sun peeking out later in the afternoon. We're expecting tomorrow to see windy conditions with 93 degrees. On Sunday, partly sunny skies, mostly cloudy, with a 12% chance of rain and a high of 95. And back to work on Monday, April 29th, with a high of 94 and about a 20% chance of rain. So make sure you're preparing as you head out for your week. Here's a song by a great 80s band. They're still around, Simply Red. Really a great lead vocal here by Michael Hutchence, I believe his name is. I didn't look that up. But this is a song called Holding Back the Years from Simply Red. Thanks for tuning in, Vaqueros. Hopefully see you back in the fall for more office hours. I know, don't cry. It's okay. Don't worry. We'll be back. We'll be back. And remember, you can find us always on Facebook and Instagram and YouTube and all kinds of great stuff. So stay in touch, and we will see you on the back end. Here's Holding Back the Years by Simply Red on Vaquero Radio, the Valley's student station.